Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Unarmored Talk podcast, where we will have real life conversations that helps you develop an accurate way of thinking. And the way we're going to do this is by gaining a better understanding of how emotions, feelings, and thoughts can influence the outcome of a personal or professional challenge. I'm your host, Mario P. Fields, and today's guest is Robert Washington. He's a professional MMA fighter, retired. He's also a United States Navy veteran. He's an author, award-winning, inspirational speaker. And there's a lot more, ladies and gentlemen, that I can continue to go on, but you guys can put them in the search engine and find them on LinkedIn, some other things. Robert, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Mario. Thank you for that gracious welcome. But I'm happy to be here. Happy to talk to you, talk through, my life, and hopefully I can get some practical takeaways and make this a really inspirational talk.
No, I appreciate and ladies and gentlemen and viewers and listeners, here's the deal. The other thing I didn't bring up is he's also a independent speaker with Global Inspirational Speakers. So I've been blessed. Yeah, I've been blessed to develop a personal professional relationship with Robert. So, I would tell you, he's already inspired me. And you guys got to check out some of his videos and some of his speeches. And he posts all the time on LinkedIn and Facebook and Twitter. Your mom and your daddy. So he's good. But so yeah, I'm one of your fans. I got my pom-poms out, man. I'm kind of short, but I'll be cheering.
We're the same height, man. We're the same height. We're around the same height. We're right there.
Yeah, man. So
5'7".
Yeah. So tell the viewers and listeners a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, I mean, first I would like to say I'm a husband and I'm a father. First, I'm a husband. I'm a father of 5 boys. I was born in poverty. I had a very humbling beginning. Joined the U.S. Navy right after 9/11. Learned a lot of things from the U.S. Navy. While I was in the military, decided to chase this dream of becoming a mixed martial arts world champion. Got out the military, went back to school. I mean, I did so much in my lifetime. I just feel like, I'm at a position right now where, I can give. It's time to give back, right? And that's kind of where I'm at now. So that's just a really high level overview of my life. But I know we're gonna dive into it as we talk more.
Yeah, and ladies and gentlemen, but Robert's a humble. He is humble. I would never fight him, but he also a business executive too. Am I correct?
Yeah, so I work. I'm in sales. I'm a sales executive. I work in IT sales. So yeah, I work with C-level executives. Kind of what I.
Yeah.
That's something I'm really passionate about. Just helping people hit their goals in life, businesses, and things of that nature.
No, that's awesome. So, hey, Unarmored Talk, you know how we do it. We get right into the topic, remove your armor, and we dive right into the topic. And so here you are. You have this vision, this dream to become a mixed martial arts fighter. You actually make it come true. I mean, a lot of us, I believe it. I just talk for myself. I've always wanted to know how is it to be a professional fighter, especially after spending, 26 years in the Marine Corps and being a martial arts instructor, and always having this vision of how is it really to be a mixed martial art fighter. So here you are, you're in this profession. Well, talk to us about how was this journey like, and how did it impact your life?
Yeah, no, the journey was, I mean, it's an amazing journey. You could learn so much in mixed martial arts, but you can also lose so much in mixed martial arts. So, I had to lose a lot to learn a lot throughout the journey. And, I when I joined the U.S. Navy, I joined because I wanted to serve my country. I didn't have no intention of getting out the military.
Right.
I fell in love. I was always a wrestler, right? I fell in love with mixed martial arts because I feel like I wasn't done. Like I feel like I didn't really achieve my goals as a wrestler back in high school. So I was in the military. I was stationed in San Diego. I actually took orders to Guam because I wanted to start my mixed martial arts career in Guam. I knew my friends was fighting in Guam. I was like, this is a good area for me to start. But also it was going to give me some exposure to fight in Southeast Asia. I love the Asian community. I love just that area. So I took orders to Guam to start my career in Guam. And I actually started my career while I was active duty military. And it was so crazy because I actually I was active duty military. I had a side job. I was a waiter for some time, and I was a full-time mixed martial artist. And so I was doing a lot, but it just shows how driven I was as an
Right.
individual.
Wow. So you go to Guam, and I mean, how was that? What went through your mind, and what type of emotions did you experience? As you go, let me start doing this in Guam.
I think I was excited. I mean, I was excited. I was like, this is going to be a new journey. It was going to be an opportunity for me to prove to myself and prove to the world that I was of value, right? I thought showing that physical part of me, showing that I can compete on a high level, was going to make me feel like I was of value. I was significant in the world. So, I started out there, and I knew that that was going to be a good platform for me to start and build my resume, as I knew, like, okay, this is some, after my first fight, I told myself I was going to fight one time. And based off that fight, I was going to make a decision if I want to stay in the sport or not. I fought
Right.
that first time and I just fell in love. So I was like, wow, this is a great opportunity for me to build and really build my skill sets. And then I want, go back to the United States after, competing in Southeast Asia.
Yeah, it's interesting how you brought up, your belief that if you can accomplish this, you kind of would validate your value to,
Hmm.
to the world, to other people.
Hmm.
This is kind of a belief that if I can accomplish this, I'm of a different value. What do you mean by um, you know sh- demonstrating to the world that you are of a value if you become a fighter, and how do you think that belief came about?
Well, I think that's a great question first. But if you really think about that belief on there, if I dive deep into that belief, where that belief comes from, is for me just being feeling insignificant as a child. Like that goes
Mm,
deep as a child, right?
wow.
Like that didn't come from me just not, getting beat up one time. That comes deep as a child. Like I didn't feel like I was valued, so I felt like I had something to prove
Wow.
to the world. So I felt like, we growing up where I grew up from, physical athletes were our superstars, right? It wasn't doctor, lawyers, and things of that nature. So I felt like my significance was tied to me doing something physical, right?
Right.
And that was me just knowing what I knew at that moment. It wasn't me being wrong. It's just all I knew at that moment was me being significant, being a significant part of this universe, this world, was tied to me doing some physical because it's all I've seen. Every success story I knew was a physical athlete or someone, doing something physical. That was our idea of success. So that was just me connecting success to what I knew from that was ingrained in me from just a child. But also, if you think about it, like just me just not having that emotional feeling of feeling like I was a significant part of it, where I had something to prove. Like, I didn't, everything wasn't done. So fighting was going to give me that opportunity to go prove to myself and prove to the world that, hey, I am somebody, almost in a sense.
Yeah, no, and what's interesting, and I love how you connected how your unique experiences, well, we all have our own experiences as humans, right? But
Mm-hmm.
how your experience as a child
Mm-hmm.
develop your belief system as an adult, and
Mm-hmm.
how your behavior, right, how your thinking process was actually built from childhood. And so that is interesting, and how you're aware of that.
Mm-hmm.
Unarmored Talk is one of the goals is to help people develop an accurate way of thinking.
Mm-hmm.
And the way you accurately talked about your belief was actually tied to not service in the Navy, not anything as an adult, but this went all the way back to the complexities of the childhood experiences. I think that's very, very interesting. So did you win your first fight, or what
Yeah.
happened?
No, I definitely won my first fight. I won it. It was a pretty good fight. Yeah, I won my first fight pretty fast, and I got that that euphoric feeling like, wow, this is it. I finally found that thing. You know, I've been searching for that thing my whole life. I
Right.
finally found that thing, and now I feel like, oh wow, I could do this, right? So it was a lot of a lot of self-belief, a lot of confidence was built after that first fight.
Yeah. So how about when did you get your first loss? You know, by
Oh, wow.
professional standards.
So I actually got my first loss. Um, I think my first loss came towards. I had won like 8 professional fights in a row, and then I lost my first fight.
Mm,
But it was something that just caught me, right? You, as part of the sport, there's a 50-50 chance that somebody's gonna get knocked out every fight, right? And it happened to be me, right? I got caught, and I just I shook it off, and I was actually so mad. I was more mad that when the ref stopped the fight, I grabbed my mouthpiece and I threw it,
right.
because when you lose, I don't think people understand when you get dropped in a fight or you get hit so hard, like your body just you're just out of control. Like you can't control your body, so you have no control. So that's the worst way to lose, because you didn't lose fighting. You lost like you just went out, right? And
Right.
that's kind of what happened to me. Is like when you get hit that hard, you just go out. Like there's no controlling, there's no throwing no other punch. You're just out. So it's like I don't like to lose that way, because now I didn't get to fight. Like I'm going out fighting every time I fight. I want to go out fighting. I want to go out swinging, and that wasn't the case.
Yeah. Right. Right. So 8 fights in, and then you get knocked out, and now you're faced with some new emotions and feelings.
Mhm,
Talk to us about so now on your first loss,
mhm,
by way of a knockout in this professional sport.
mhm.
What went through your mind? What emotions and feelings did you experience after you realized you lost?
Hunger. I mean, just hunger. I mean, it's just in this sport you train for losses. You train for those days. If you don't train yourself mentally for the bad days, you will never appreciate the good days.
Mm,
And I I had already been beat up in training so many times. It's like, okay, what do I do? Do I stay down or do I get back up?
right.
Right. So I mean, it was just I was hungry. I was hungry. I think I was a little bit more dedicated at the time. After my loss, I knew that I had to tighten up some stuff. It opened up some areas of opportunities for me. But more importantly, I think I was driven. I was driven to get back out there and just go do it again. And
Yeah, no.
that
Wow.
99% of fighters have that same mindset. If you can't be a fighter without that mindset, because you're going to lose, especially in a sport like mixed martial arts. You're going to lose.
Yeah, no, yeah, and a lot of times, just while living, we take risk, right? Whatever, and everyone
Mhm,
has a different definition of risk. But oftentimes, we as humans, right, we'll take some risk, and then and it doesn't go the way we expected or
mhm.
imagined it to go. But then now that for some, right, that may cause fear, or a little bit of reluctance. Did you experience that, after experiencing that loss? Did you experience any fear or reluctance of it happening again? Or was it more of a anger, like you said, like I'm motivated, or whatever type of emotion to get you ready for that next fight? What did you go through that?
No, honestly, I don't think, man, I don't experience a lot of fear. Like I didn't experience a lot of fear doing it. I think this is who I was. I mean, just as an individual, I've always been that person that wasn't afraid to take the leaps of faith or go out and do risky stuff. So no, I don't think there was any fear involved. There was more, if anything, I would say, um, I'll go back to what I said. It was just more driven. I think after the loss, I did a little bit too much, more than anything. Because when you lose, there's two things you happen, right? You can
Right.
quit or you can work harder. Or you just continue to do three things. You can quit, continue doing what you're doing, and you work
Yeah.
harder. I decided to work harder. And sometimes when you take a big loss in anything in life, whatever, sometimes we go back, we're like, oh, God, I gotta go redo my whole strategy. And you might just be like a small little pivot away, a tweak away from your strategy. And I think I was a tweak away. And I was just like, no, I'm gonna go work harder now. I'm gonna go work harder now. And which you don't, so most of the time you don't have to do that, right? You're just a small tweak away, or maybe you just got to be a little bit more patient, or just a little bit more technical. But I said I need to redefine my whole strategy. I just need to go, 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 go,
Right.
go, and that's what losses does to us. It makes us think that we're not doing the right thing. You
Yeah.
know, at time it makes us like, okay, maybe I need to go change stuff up, and a lot of the change sometimes can be so small, you know.
And you could have made the choice to quit. I mean, it's
Yeah.
right. It's a choice. And from my understanding of a professional athlete fighter, mixed martial arts fighters, they have a team. So how do you think your team, your coach or whomever, it could be your spouse as well, but how did your team, whatever you define as your team, do you believe played in your thought process where you're like, no, this is the decisions I'm going to make, right? And here's where I'm going to put my effort towards and my work towards to get ready for that next fight. How did the team play a role in your thought process?
Well, yeah, the team. I mean, when you competing as a professional athlete, when you're competing in any sports, your team's job is to support you,
Hmm.
and your team's job is to lift you up. You know, because at the end of the day, you're going to be down on yourself. You're going to be sad and emotional.
Yeah.
But you know, your team's job is to let you know that's just a moment. That moment shall pass, and that's typically what my team at the time, that what they did, Rob, because a lot of those guys had more experience than I did.
Right.
It's okay, Rob. You know, it happens to the best of us. It's part of the sport. They make you feel like you're not alone in it. You're not the first. You're not going to be the last. So now you might be down for a day, but that day doesn't become a week. That week does become a month, and you kind of make that bounce back faster. So I think the team, that's why it's so important to have a team, because if you
Right.
don't, you can sit in that loss by yourself. You can sit in that victim mindset by yourself, and it's lonely, right? But having that team there to support you helps elevate you, helps you put you back in the game a little bit faster.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that I like how you highlighted too that no matter how tough we are, no matter how tall or strong or short, doesn't matter. We're going to experience emotions of sadness and doubt, and the importance of the team to
Mm-hmm.
help you think through that. So
Mm-hmm.
you don't allow that emotion to take over your decision, your behavior. Any
Mm-hmm.
time during your career that you felt like your life was in danger. I mean, it's a brutal sport, and and
Mm-hmm.
and any time where you in a position medically where you're like, holy smokes, I don't know if I'm going to make it.
Yeah, yeah, my last fight. So I think I think towards the end of my career, I feel like I was on the race. I was 32 years old.
Hmm.
I had just finished my second master's degree.
You were 32,
I,
Robert. I thought you look 25 right now.
I wish I don't feel it, but I was 32 years old. I just finished my second master's degree. We just had a newborn baby.
Mm,
I feel I just bought a brand new house, my dream house. I feel like I was in a race. I feel like I was in a race to accomplish all my goals in like a year. So I worked like I was in a race. I go by this concept of pacing, and I didn't use my own. I didn't listen to my own advice. I didn't pace myself. I was just like, okay, I'm gonna take this next fight. I'm gonna train my butt off, and I'm gonna dominate this guy. And I train. When I say I train, I train, I train, I train. I would literally wake up in the middle of the night and I would look at the commentator, say, this guy, there's no way this guy's going to win the fight. I would read the analytics, the stats, the comments, and everything. And I
wow.
was like, okay, I'm going to prove them wrong. And I would train, I would train, I would train. I mean, it got to the point right now, got to the point where literally I came in the house and I was like a robot. I would go in the house, working a full-time job, going to school full-time, managing 5 kids, brand new house, all this stuff, right? I would
Right.
come in the house, I would cook, I would clean. And my wife, one day, she was like, Robert, you're here, but you're not present. I was like, what do you mean? She's like, Robert, you're here, but you're not emotionally present.
Mm,
So I was literally so focused that I was like a robot. I didn't get tired. And that's just tells you the power of the brain, because I
right.
didn't get tired. I mean, I was literally putting in 17, 18 hours, 19 hours of work and training. total, sleeping 3 to 4 hours, doing training twice a day to take this fight, right? And so when I got into the fight, I was already mentally exhausted, physically exhausted,
Mm,
spiritually exhausted, emotionally exhausted, and my body, my mind, I don't know what was going, how I was continue to go, but some way I was going. So, I got into the fight and I felt good. This was my
right.
last fight of my career. I didn't think it was going to be my last fight. I thought I was going to dominate the fight, but going into the fight, I felt good. And then, like midway through the fight, my coach just threw in the towel. And he was just like, I was like, what you doing? I looked back at him, I was like, what are you doing? He's like, Robert, you're not even moving. And I was like, huh? I'm not moving? Like my mind didn't even register that I wasn't moving
Wow.
in the fight. Like I wasn't doing anything. I thought I was fighting. I thought the guy was actually better than me, just dominate me. My mind didn't even know. Like I was so focused on winning that I didn't even know my body was like completely shut down. So they was like, Robert, get up. I was like, I can't. Like, Robert, get up, come shake this guy's hand. You lost the fight. I was like, I can't. So they put me on the stretcher. They rushed me to the hospital. When they got to the hospital, they put this machine on my heart. They said, your heart is twice the size of a normal heart. Like
Wow.
you're about to go into cardiac arrest. So then, later on that day, the doctor asked me to urinate in the cup. I urinated in the cup. My urine was black. And so I knew something was wrong then. And doctor came back in and said, Robert, you could have died. Luckily, we caught it early, but pretty much your kidneys shut down because you have this condition called rhabdomyolysis.
Yeah.
And rhabdomyolysis is pretty much when you break down your muscles so much from overtraining, right? Your muscle fibers actually flush through your kidneys, shuts down your kidneys, and your organs are working like extreme double time because your kidneys aren't working. So they was literally like another minute of the fight, you was going into cardiac arrest. So
Wow.
that moment actually woke me up. That moment was the moment where I knew that everything I was goes back to the significance as a child, right?
Right.
Everything I was chasing was material. Like I was chasing all this material stuff. I was trying to prove something to somebody. I was already a value. Like it all goes back to like I had nothing to prove to nobody. Like I
Right.
had nothing even to prove. I was doing all the right things. I didn't have to go and do above and beyond. But that goes back to the expectations of failure that was put on me as far back as a child. Also, you know,
Yeah.
people told
Wow.
me I wasn't going to be none. I was never
Yeah.
going to be none. Like all those messages kind of drove me to overworking myself to that pivotal moment. And
Right.
that pivotal moment actually changed my life.
Wow, that's powerful. Here it is. You grow up in an impoverished, right, neighborhood. Probably some examples. I won't say good or bad. They were examples. And
Mm-hmm.
you had your experiences that carried over into adulthood. You go in and do an amazing thing in mixed martial arts, which I believe a lot of folks can't do. You do
Mm-hmm.
well, and then you have this near death situation that changed your life. And now here you are, a business executive, an author, and most importantly, I believe, Robert, from talking to you, is a wonderful husband, a wonderful father. I love your new pool, by the way. Uh,
Yeah, thank
I
you.
gonna come visit, but but so just an amazing journey, and a lot of emotions, a lot of thought. And I believe that'll help people understand, that the personal, professional challenge, you can get through it. But reflecting back on that journey we just discussed, what could you leave the listeners and viewers that you learned from reflecting through on that journey?
I think the biggest message this is a message I always say
Yeah.
um, to everyone I come around, like really, for one, set a really realistic pace when you think about this life journey. And when you set your journey in life, make sure that I like to think about like my goals now. What I've learned from that is like I want my goals to be so intangible. And the reason why that I don't want my goals to be like I hit this goal and that's it, right? If I became a champ, then what's next,
Right.
So I want my goals to be a journey, not a goal, right? Because now, looking at it now, like my journey is to impact millions around the world. That never stops. Me becoming a mixed martial arts world champion, that's it. That's it, right? So like I leveled up my goals. I leveled up what I'm trying to do in life. And I've set them to the point where they're intangible, right? They're not like something that you can hold, you can grab. This thing is going to continue to go. 'Cause what it does is continues to push me. My purpose in life continues to push and drive me. And it's not like, oh, Robert became this world champion and that's it. Now I can, this journey is going to go for the rest of my life. But that fuels me, that fuels me. That to me has a bigger impact than what I was chasing it before.
Right.
So it woke me up to like what was really important to me, which is my family, my faith, and what I was focused on. But it also helped me really, really redefine kind of my strategy and where I was headed towards life. Now, I think that's the biggest thing. Is a lot of people, we go on this life journey, but we really don't know where we're going. Right? We don't have a defined strategy for our life. And I think, that moment helped me really, really prioritize what was important to me. But how do I build a strategy that was going to support me to where I wanted to go? Now I know where I want to go. At first, it was just like, I was fighting. Like, fighting's a great sport, but what's next? Like, after you become a champion,
What's
you're going to be forgot about. Like, what's next? What's after that? A lot of people can't answer that question. It's a,
Yeah. Well,
yeah, a lot of people can't answer the question.
I could tell you this to bring you a little bit more clarity. You've inspired me from the first time I met you last year. And I like how you
Mhm.
highlighted, make your goal not a goal to grab something concrete, if you will, to achieve something that's
Mhm.
tangible, but something that's a journey that will outlive all of us. So
Yeah.
I appreciate you, and again, thank you for being on the show. How can people find Robert Watson? How can they find you?
Yeah, LinkedIn, Robert Washington. I'm on every platform. I have a Facebook page at Robert the Speaker, a Twitter at Robert the Speaker, not Twitter. Yeah, Twitter at Robert the Speaker, Instagram at Robert the Speaker, and I think on TikTok at Robert the Speaker also.
Yeah,
Yeah.
nice. Ladies and gentlemen. Well, hey, if you want to listen to this episode, go to Apple Podcasts slash iTunes, if you will. Get on there, download this episode. Also, if you can, leave us a rating and a review, even if it's a 1 star. That helps us get better. This podcast is designed to help people, and it's not for Mario P. Also, if you want to watch this episode, you can go on the YouTube channel, my YouTube channel, put in search engine Mario P Fields YouTube. It'll pop up. Again, subscribe, watch this video. Until next time, I'll see you guys later.
Thanks, Mario.
Oh, no, thank you, my friend. You guys be safe.